Oh man, tell me that's what I was feeling watching that game. Miami and Virginia Tech, emotions all over the map. And what a crazy, wild ending to that game. Like, I cannot believe that ending. If you're the refs, like, what did you see to call a touchdown other than, like, I guess you'd be like, it looked like Nine came down with the ball and then it was ripped away. But it's like you couldn't have confirmed that call. And it is just so absurd to call it. I feel like you got to go with the interception because it's ripped away. Like, how could you say that you clearly saw enough possession there to make that call, the knowing what the review rules are, that you have to have clear evidence to overturn a call on the field, which is like, man, they said like they ruled it incomplete, which is interesting, like with no explanation from what I remember, just incomplete. The ruling on the field is it was incomplete. Why was it incomplete? Did he not survive the ground? Well, at what point was he down? Did he, I mean, he was in bounds, I guess you'd say he had a foot in bounds or whatever. At what point is he down? Like, is it that he didn't survive the ground? Was he down when the ball was ripped away? Um, just a crazy, unbelievable, wild call that I can't believe. I think the thing for me that I was like, okay, maybe they will like, I had my fingers crossed, hoping that they were going to overturn that call. Um, because it just was so absurd that they made it. And I think where I finally got hope that, like, okay, they're going to overturn it, because the first couple times they showed it, you couldn't see squat. And you're like, oh my gosh. Then they showed that side angle where you could see, like, him coming down, and it kind of looked like you're like, he didn't survive going down. Like, the ball juggles out, and the other guy clearly rips it away. And you're like, that's the angle that the ref is seeing there too. So how they ever like call this thing a touchdown is just so crazy wild. But that game overall, I mean, back and forth. Miami goes up in the first quarter 14-7, and then Virginia Tech dominates that second quarter. And I got to tell you, as someone watching that game with a rooting interest in the University of Miami, because I like the Le Batard show, like, I've become a fan of the University of Miami. I honestly went back and forth on, usually I want Miami to win, but I was like, oh man, like, they're doing so well for them to like lose this game. I thought of the opportunity for me to get on and do this. And in the end, they won, and I still got the opportunity. So, but in the end, I was like, I do want them to win. I want Miami to succeed and be successful. But as that's all happening, I'm like, oh man, like, you think about this, like, Cristobal, he's always like blown it, essentially. You know, he always makes some sort of mistake. Cam Ward is not, he's great quarterback, incredibly talented, but is he known as like a winner in his time that he's been a quarterback? Like, Washington State, sure, not the best program, but they're known for like slinging the pill. But were they all that good when he was there? I mean, so starting to question, like, um maybe the hype around Miami got too big because should you trust these unknown quantities of like Cam Ward and Mario Cristobal? Like, what have they done to show you that you can trust them, right? And is it here all of a sudden is Miami going to collapse and this is their loss? But they pulled through. I mean, Cam Ward had some seriously clutch plays. That final game-winning drive, like again, he's still close loss. That Virginia Tech team looks good. Like 2-2. I think they're gonna have a decent season, or maybe it's just they play Miami really well. But that final drive by Cam Ward, that fourth down conversion, clutch, that play to get him down to the 5. I mean, Cam Ward was making Heisman worthy plays, and he had the 2 picks. And again, Virginia Tech not. So you got this close law and now kind of a questionable win with that call, but I think they ultimately got it right. You wonder if they're in Virginia Tech, does the call stand? Like, I think the call stands if they're in Virginia Tech because what would have happened in that stadium? What would have happened in that stadium if the call goes the other way? What would the fans do? That would have been a crazy environment. That's one of the craziest innings. But for Cam Ward, again, I think it cements his Heisman candidacy of big plays in those moments. And we'll see what Miami can keep doing. Can they keep winning? They're now in plays. This is a game where last couple seasons, Miami would have lost this game. But Cam Ward got it done. That defense, like, that's kind of a problem. That Virginia Tech was able to do whatever they wanted. That defense looked gassed repeatedly. You have people going out. I don't know. Like, Miami's going to need to improve that defense. You can't just lean on only Cam Ward. And they've yet to establish a running game at all. There's nobody that you trust to run the football. So literally everything is on. It feels like everything is on Cam Ward's back at this point. And that doesn't feel like a recipe for success to win the national championship. But I think if you're a tempered Miami fan, you're feeling good, even though you would have liked to see him continue to roll. Like, this was a game in the past. This shades of Georgia Tech, right? That's what everybody's thinking in that final play is, oh no, not Georgia Tech again. And shout out to Drones for putting that ball in a place. Like, when that ball was in the air and you started seeing going, it's like, they got a chance. And even on the play before that, it's like, you really got to question what is happening in these end game situations that teams get such good chances against the U. Get it fixed. Get it fixed. This team, I want to see this team make the playoffs. I think that'd be really fun for Miami to make the playoffs. So an exciting game. Like, that's going to be something I remember as one of the craziest football games, especially because of that ending. Running out with the football, the lights turning off, people going crazy, and simultaneously you're signaling like a touchdown. That was wild, man. Totally, totally wild. Like, I could not believe it at all. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm kind of tapped out on my Miami and U thoughts. The adrenaline is buzzing though. But just totally crazy. Like, college football, there is nothing like it. Man, what is Mike Ryan going through right now? Imagine this loss. You lose Amiga Reyna for your Cyclones, and then this happens to the U. Stay strong, Mike. Stay strong. They did it. Looking forward to hearing you Wednesday on Kane's Insight and seeing how you approach this. I think overall, positive. You got the win. You got out alive. In the words of Mike Tomlin, you made it out of the stadium alive. The U and their playoff hopes are alive. So you focus on the positive. You talk about what a crazy, idiotic call that was. I don't understand that call. I feel like, again, as the refs, you've got to go. You got to go with like the interception or incomplete. Rule it incomplete, and then see if you can't overturn it, because you got all these guys like out of bounds on their backs. Just a crazy nonsense call to what could you have possibly seen to call that a touchdown. I think I saw him possess it. You can't call a touchdown on, I think that's what I saw, especially when, I don't know, maybe this play makes change replay, because I wonder, Virginia Tech fans, how are you feeling out there, like, with what happened here? Like, there's probably Virginia Tech fans feeling like they maybe got screwed, not because they think it was a touchdown, but because they called it a touchdown. And on what evidence did you overturn it? You didn't really clearly explain it. So just a total mess. And I'm getting emotional here. Just glad that the U is back to work.